Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. 24. We're going to be having a look at some more combat mechanics of Final Fantasy XIV. Today, we're going to be looking at the Red Mage. Now, Red Mage you unlock at level 50, so you've still got a fair few abilities to have a look at when you first unlock it, and it's quite a complex class to actually get your head around. So I thought I'd have a look at it, give you a bit of an idea of the general mechanics of it so that you can go in and make a start on it. Open disclaimer, this is by no means an optimum rotation. This is just to give you an idea of the general mechanics and how they trigger each other so that you can go out and figure out your best way to play yourself. Let's jump in. As always, I am in Central Central Shroud right now, just north of Bemperach in the Jadeite Thick, using these striking dummies for demonstration purposes. So, Red Mage. Quite a tricky kind of rotation because it's got two steps to it. In essence, it's a mage, it's a caster. He does have thunder, arrow, fire, and stone. Just to differentiate between Red Mage and Black Mage, they are Ver Thunder, Ver Arrow, Ver Fire, Ver Stone. Why not? You do, however, have a couple of melee moves, and believe it or not, they're your big hits, and that's what you're going to be aiming towards. So what we're going to do, we're going to be starting out with the casting moves. The bigger hits of the casting moves are Thunder and Arrow. However, there's a little mechanic the Red Mage has called Dual Cast, which will make the second spell that you cast in a row instant cast. They're the ones you want to be doing instant cast, and I'll show you for why. Thunder and Arrow have really long cast times. It's about a 5-second cast time to actually get that off. And as much as it is your highest hitting spell, you don't want to be waiting 5 seconds to be getting a spell off. So, when you first start your combat, you want to be looking at Jolt. First off, the Fire and the Stone you can see there have triggers, because I've just been using Thunder and Arrow. You cannot use them until they are Fire and Stone ready. Thunder triggers Fire, Arrow triggers Stone, and that's why I've got them in that kind of order on my bars there to help me to remember. As you may have noticed, I am playing on PlayStation. If you're on PC, your bars might look a little bit different, but you want to make sure that they kind of liaise with each other. They've now run out, so you can see there I cannot cast Fire and Stone. It's not just that it strengthens them, they need to be Thunder or Arrow ready. So we're going to use Jolt to start. It is your weakest attacking spell that you have, but it's half the cast time of Thunder or Arrow. So you want to cast that, that's going to make you dual cast ready, and you can instant cast Thunder. Didn't proc for Fire, it is only a chance, so we're going to go again, and we're going to try Arrow. Didn't proc Stone. So we're still using Jolt as that trigger spell, and we're going to go back and forth until we get Fire or Stone. Something to draw attention to, and we just triggered Stone there, but I'll come back to that. The class bars that we get for Red Mage, these ones here, you've got black mana and white mana. These are triggered by the different spells that you do, so Jolt will give you a certain amount of mana to both, but very low. Thunder gives you black mana, Arrow gives you white mana. And exactly the same with your trigger spells. Fire will give you black mana, Stone will give you white mana. You want to try and get both of those bars filling up nicely, so you're going to alternate back and forth between the two. The comparative ones are the same damage potency, so Thunder and Arrow do the same, Fire and Stone do the same. So you want to try and keep those mana bars kind of building up nicely together. Just coming over to the left-hand side, you've also got Scatter, which is an AoE version of your Jolt. However, it is, again, a long cast time, so you probably still want to engage with your Jolt if you're going to be using Scatter. You've also got Ver Thunder and Ver Arrow, which, again, are the AoE versions of your Thunder and Arrow. The difference with the AoE versions... if I just go back to them, so Ver Thunder 2 and Ver Arrow 2, they do still increase your mana. They will not trigger Stone and Fire ready. So you can see that there when we look at Thunder, 50% chance of becoming Ver Fire ready, and Arrow, 50% chance of becoming Ver Stone ready. So it is down to chance, but that's going to trigger your other spells, which are your shorter cast. The reason why that's important, and obviously when you actually look at the potency of them, Thunder with a potency of 300, whereas Fire that it triggers is only a potency of 260. So you're thinking, why don't I just keep on using Jolt and Thunder? Because your Fire is the same cast time as your Jolt. So your rotation you want to do, you want to trigger with Jolt. Doesn't work, you go back to Jolt. If it triggers your stone or your fire, you want to be using that for triggering your dual cast. So we're going to keep on going until this triggers one of those. As I'm recording the video, obviously, it's going to mess around with me and not trigger anything just to make my video look awkward. Come on! So my mana bars are full, and we'll come to that in just a second. There we go. So the fire's up. Same cast time as Jolt, but higher power. So you want to be using that now as your trigger when you're going back and forth. You're doing that. It's still giving you your dual cast. Any spell that you cast, even if it's Cure, will trigger your dual cast. And any spell that you cast after that will be instant cast. So even, as I said before, your Scatter, which is your AoE move, your AoE equivalent, your Arrow, your Thunder, will be instant cast when you have your dual cast ability available. You also get acceleration. You have that at level 50 as soon as you unlock the class as well, which will instantly give you your dual cast ability. Doesn't call it dual cast, but it will give you your instant cast ability. What it also does is it guarantees your proc on your fire or stone as well for the next ability that you use. So it's a nice one to use. It also increases the potency of Scatter. So if you're AoE, use your acceleration before you do Scatter. If you're single target, use your acceleration for your Thunder or Arrow to give you that instant proc. Now we come to the interesting bit. That's your general rotation around your spells, which, as I say, when you're going you're back and forth, making sure that you're using your dual cast properly so you're not getting your increased cast times. Your AoE spells in there as well. Almost feels like a class on its own. But then you've got a whole separate set of spells, which is your melee. So you've got a nice little ability called Core by Core, which is dash into your target. When you're in melee range, you've also got Displacement, which is to dash back out again. So it's a really nice way of going back and forth from doing your spell casting. You've got your mana bars up. We're going to dive in. Now, the abilities that you have here, you have, first off, you've got Fletch. Fletch is a instant cast with quite a long cooldown on it. Doesn't use up any of your mana. It's just a nice one to throw out there while you're in melee range. You've also got Moulinet. If I pronounce any of these really poorly, forgive me. Moulinet is your AoE move. So it goes in a cone in front of you. Where's my... There we go. So you don't actually unlock Moulinet until 52, so you won't have it straight away. But for when you get it, which is going to be quite early on when you start playing the class, it is in a cone in front of you. It's not a full AoE. Potency of 60. However, when you have your black and white mana over 20, all of those melee abilities become the empowered versions. And let me give you an idea of what that means. Riposte is the first one in your 3-hit combo, and then Zwerchao, and then Redoublement. Each one of those, if you have above 15 or ideally 20 black and white mana, ideally up at the top so that you can use all 3 of them because they cost mana in their enchanted versions. So you want a minimum of 80 of your black and white mana to use all 3. Instead of Riposte being 130, if we go down to the enchanted Riposte, potency of 220. For your Zwerchao, instead of 150 as a combo potency, it jumps up to 290. And then your Redoublement, your big one, instead of 230, if you've still got enough mana when you get there on your 3-hit combo, 470 potency melee attack. So you can see our manas there. I've got both my manas up at 100. We're going to do the enchanted Riposte. It's a combo move. It's used 20. We're going to go again, 65. We're going to go again, down to 50. The reason why you want to get it up to full, ideally, is you can do that exact same combo again. You can hit all 3 of your nice hard-hitting moves. Then you can dash back out with your Displacement and come back to casting and start building those mana bars back up again. So you want both of those mana bars to be going up at the same kind of pace so that you get, because those enchanted moves you were using doesn't use one mana or the other, it uses both of them at the same time. So if you've got 100 black and no white, you cannot use those enchanted moves. You've got to have both of those manas up nice and high. So what I tend to do, obviously, where you get those trigger chances, if one of the manas is going particularly higher than the others, I will focus more on that one when I'm doing my spells. So if I'm triggering fire loads of times, my black mana is going to go really high. As soon as fire doesn't trigger, I'm going to want to be using arrow instead of thunder to make sure that that mana comes up and you're keeping those relatively level. Just to give you the look then at when we dash in, you've got your Moulinet as well. Does the same thing, you can see the mana's going down, and that's your Cone AoE going in front of you. For the basics of Red Mage, and I know that doesn't exactly sound very basic, but that is the general combat mechanics for Red Mage. It is a really fun class to play when you start getting the hang of it. The dash in, hit it hard, dash back out again, start casting. It is actually really fun and engaging to play. But it does get a little bit daunting at first, trying to nail that combo of going in and out and stuff like that. Alternatively, you can just use your spell casting to build your mana up and then use the mana for your boss fights. Go in, use your melee attacks, come back out again and just become primarily a spell caster. But to use it at its optimum, you want to be using those melee attacks whenever you've got the mana to do so, because they do hit a lot harder than your spells. Hope that helps, guys. Enjoy it. If you do have any top tips, please do leave them in the comments below. If you like what you see, please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers all.